Welcome, Internet dwellers. In today's edition of Washington Horror Stories, we're going to talk about me, the FBI, and the black box databases. Yes, we are. Now, this starts off in 1991, 1992. I was a consultant working for U.S. Customs at their Newington facility when I was 6 months into the contract, and two FBI agents came into my cubicle, and they said, we don't want you here anymore, and you're going to have to come with us, and you're not coming back to your cubicle, but that's okay because we're going to box it all that up for you. And then they took me to the director's office. And in the director's office was the director and three senior supervisors. And the lead FBI agent, by the way, the FBI agents are kind of like Jedi Knights in that there's always a Padawan. So the freaking chief Jedi Knight there sits in the director's chair. The director's off to the side, leaning up against the wall. Hey, can I get this guy? I'm gonna let him get a little closer. Come into my web. Anyway, so it's like the director was there was three senior managers were there, and the FBI agents and me. So I'm sitting in a chair across from the head FBI agent, and he says to me, Mr. Johnson, before we start, I just want to inform you that if you lie to an FBI agent, you will be committing a felony and may serve 10 years in a federal penitentiary. And I said, okay, cool. And he said, Mr. Johnson, could you explain to me exactly what you have been doing here at this facility for the last 6 months? And I said, sure, nothing. Nothing? That's impossible. Surely you had done something while you were here. And I said, well, I did read a lot of newspapers and magazines, yeah. And I did a lot of crossword puzzles, too. And he goes, Mr. Johnson, might I remind you what the penalty is for lying to an FBI agent? Now, would you like to reconsider your previous statements? And that's when I gave him that smile that said, I'm lying to you. I know that you know that I'm lying to you, and I don't care. And I looked right into his eyes with a big smile. I said, how could I? I never was issued a user ID or a password. And with that, he gave up, and to the great relief of the director and the senior managers, I was escorted out of the building into the car. Now, as you might have guessed, I was lying. I lied to the FBI agent. I said that I hadn't been doing anything, but I was. Now you're going to ask yourself, Billy, what exactly were you doing there at U.S. Customs? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I freaking documented. I wrote the documentation for every freaking mainframe program they had, both batch and CICS. Okay? And when I was done with that, then they brought me the black box program. A program so freaking secret, the documentation never left the senior manager's freaking desk. And on top of that, there was stuff that program did that the senior manager I was working for ordered me to take out of the document. This top secret document. Okay? Wasn't even correct. So I had to take it out. Anyway. Now, how was I able to do this? Simple. Because I, at one time or another, was given every one of their user IDs and passwords for all the senior management and the director. In fact, the director's user ID and password were the only ones that would allow me access to the black box program. Now, I did abuse my opportunity, and I did kind of like look through at some of the databases that this program was accessing. And by the way, it was accessing everything! All the freaking alphabet agencies, the freaking state police. I even freaking was able to access Interpol. But the ones that were the bestest to access were the ones that were supposed to be there. And I looked at that data, and let me tell you, I don't know how they got that data. They knew who was freaking gay, who was cheating on their freaking wife, you know, who had freaking got a DWI when they were 12. And I'm pretty sure that that stuff was obtained illegally. I know that, now here's the thing, that database, that program was only supposed to be used to vet high-level candidates, you know, like Secretary of State, to make sure they weren't, you know, vulnerable to being blackmailed by the Russians. But what was really going on is the politicians and the freaking lobbyist buddies that they shared with had access to that freaking program and were using it to freaking do background reports on their political enemies, to do political opposition. And that's how freaking that senator from Arizona, Colorado, Gary Hart, that's how they got him. They freaking used that program. And by the way, you could get $35,000 on the black market for one of those freaking background reports, because that's what did, it generated background reports. Of course, I didn't do that. But anyway, so there you go. And I'm pretty sure that the statute of limitations is up, so the FBI can't do anything about me. And even if it's not, come get me, bitches. You owe me money for fucking Miami, and you're gonna pay me. Yes. Anyway. There you go. I hope you enjoyed my story, and I'll see you later.